today we are here to talk in this specific session about how you can get involved in helping cats in your communities in whatever way works for you. So I just want to start with brief introductions from all of our speakers to share a little bit about your background and how you help cats in your community. And we'll go ahead and start with Nikki, who I want to just give a shout out to because she was actually the first ever winner of our Forever Home Heroes grant in 2018. I think it was. Yeah. So our Forever Home Heroes program is our social good program where we give away thousands of dollars to grassroots people and organizations who are helping cats in our community. And Nikki was actually that first ever winner. So Nikki, go ahead and give a background on what you do.
Hey, thanks for having me again. It's so fun to do this. So I am the foster mom behind My Foster Kittens on Instagram. I also am the Feline Solutions Director at Hearts Alive Village Animal Rescue in Las Vegas. I also am a TNR trapper for an organization called C5 here in Las Vegas and serve on the board of directors with them as well. So I stay busy doing TNR and fostering kittens and overseeing the foster program for a local rescue. We take in between 1,100 and 1,300 cats and kittens every year.
Amazing. All right, Logan, how about you? Want to share your background?
Yeah. How you guys doing? My name is Logan Ryan. I'm an NFL athlete. I've been playing professional football for 10 years now. Play for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I won 2 Super Bowls along my way. I also am the owner and founder, along with my wife, of the Ryan Animal Rescue Foundation, where we raise money, awareness, all to shelter pets, dogs and cats. And since 2020, my wife and I and our daughter have fostered over, I think, our 47th and 48th kitten right now that we fostered since COVID. So my big cause is animal welfare and trying to bring people from a sports background to animal welfare and people who look like me, minorities, males, into this space as well. So I've been headline for pedigree campaigns, for national ads, for all for shelter animals and promoting cats, kittens, dogs, you name it. So appreciate you guys for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right, Stacy, go ahead.
So hi, I'm Stacy LeBaron. I'm the head cat at the Community Cats podcast. And I know Emily and Nikki both have been guests on the Community Cats podcast. We have over 500 episodes. We've been recording shows since 2016. I've been involved in animal welfare since 1994. So I've kind of been around focused on cats. I ran the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society for 16 years. And kind of learned how to turn your passion for cats into action. And so that's what I am all about, is how to help you, how to help people out there do more for the cats in their community and really make it a wonderfully humane community for our cats, as well as for other animals and for everybody in general.
Great. So Stacy, I'm going to go back to you. So one of the abbreviations in the session title is TNR, which stands for trap-neuter-return, which some people might not know what that is. And I would love if you could give a quick background to what that is. And I know, and actually Nikki has spoken about this at previous events, like TNR is not something you necessarily need to get so trained on, right? But you do offer TNR certifications and trainings as well. So if you could just give a quick background of what TNR is and how it helps community cats.
Sure. Yeah. So TNR, trap-neuter-return, is pretty much what it says. What we're doing is we are trapping community cats. We're getting them spayed or neutered. We're ear tipping them, giving them a rabies vaccine, and then releasing them back to where they came, returning them back to where they came from in the community. In most cases, there are designated caretakers, feeders, people who really support and care for cats. I think it's something about 60% of folks are feeding cats that they don't know who the owners are. So we are very loving and generous with feeding our cats in our community. So if you've got an 18-pound cat that comes in that it needs to be neutered, I don't think you have to worry about that cat not being fed and supported by the community. So that's what trap-neuter-return is. And mainly our certification program is setting people up for success. If you have trapped a cat, there are many ways you can mess it up, really. And it sometimes is shocking. The first cat you trap, the cat gets agitated in the trap. Some do, some don't like it. And it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So you see a video of a cat, actually being trapped so that you can prepare yourself and understand. You can make sure you have the right protection in your car so the cat doesn't pee all over your car, and then your car is going to smell like cat the whole time. So easy things, simple things, but yet we might not think about it. So that's what our TNR certification workshops are all about. And, so you can help a few cats in your backyard that you might, want to get them assistance.
Great. And Nikki, so for people who, okay, they hear this and they're like, I want to get involved, but like, where do I go? What do I search for to find ways to say, get involved with fostering or doing TNR? Like, what are your recommendations for searching those things out?
Yeah, definitely. I actually recommend starting with an organization that's already doing TNR rather than doing it on your own. You can receive training through them, but they just usually need assistance. So you can just Google TNR cat in your city and see if there's an organization that's already doing TNR, or maybe they'll loan you a trap. I made a video a couple years ago of my little tiny nephew doing TNR. It's super easy to do. It doesn't require any skill whatsoever. There's a couple tips we can offer you, but anyone can get involved in doing it.
That's great. And so another way to get involved is volunteering, right? And so Logan, I know your organization provides funds to tons of different places that help, animals in general. And you volunteered with your family, and I know you have 2 young kids and your wife. So, what is your advice for people who want to say, like, volunteer at a shelter, figure out how they can do like a day or something sort of consistently within some organization? What are your tips for how people can find the best way to volunteer that fits into their life?
Yeah, I would say definitely contact your local shelter, or do the research locally, and just make the time. I mean, we're all busy. I'm pretty busy as a professional athlete, and I still find time to foster as a father, young kids running around. We have dogs in our house as well. Busy schedule, but I took every Tuesday is an off day for us during the NFL season. Every Tuesday, I picked my kids up for school. We went to the shelter for an hour, and we went to work, weighing kittens, feeding, puppies, intake, all that stuff. And if you want to incorporate exercise in your life, and you want to walk, an hour a day or an hour every other day, go to the local shelter, see if they need people to walk the dogs, and that could be part of your exercise. And you can bond with the dogs. I think all of our shelters and everything I learned in this community, in the animal world, animal rescue community, is all based on volunteers. They really run the shelters. It's good-hearted people that get paid very little money or volunteer for free to make their local shelters run. So they're always looking for more help. So I would say find the time to reach out, see what you can be of help, and just schedule that in your weekly routine, your monthly routine, or whatever that may be. And it's a great activity for your kids as well. My kids have grown up around rescue animals, and I can see how it's shaping them to have, great hearts.
That's awesome. And Nikki, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed about the idea of fostering, and it's very easy to come up with excuses of, right, I'm too busy, I don't have enough space, it's going to cost me money. But kitten season is coming up, which kitten season is basically the spring, right? That's when a lot of cats end up having, outdoor cats end up having kittens. But I'd love for you and Logan to both share just, what are some misconceptions about fostering that will help people realize that maybe it is possible for them to foster cats or kittens?
I think the biggest misconception is that you have to have previous experience. That's not true. You do not need previous experience in order to foster. I didn't even own a cat when I started fostering. I had never, ever had a cat growing up or anything. And that you need some kind of special space to be able to foster. A bathroom works perfect. An extra large dog kennel or a pet playpen works perfectly. Another misconception is that you can't foster if you work full time. That's definitely not true at all. You can work full time. We have many foster parents that work with our organization that work full time. Another misconception is that you it just fell out of my head, but
it's okay. Maybe Logan, go.
Yeah, Logan might have some more.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Logan caught it. felt from your head to his.
Yeah, I mean, I would piggyback off of what Nikki said, the experience that people think you need to be a doctor or a vet or just had tons of cats in the past. I recommend foster to everybody that wants to get a cat as a pet. I'm like, well, why don't you try being a foster to see how that fits into your lifestyle? And for us, we do a big thing where we don't always necessarily feel like we have ample amounts of time, but when I know I have some downtime in my schedule, we'll take a kitten that is, the 2-3 week age, that's a certain weight, that's not heavy enough to be adopted, and we'll feed them up and love them up for a couple of weeks and then return them, promote them on our social media and get that kitten adopted. And sometimes you're foster failures and you end up adopting the kitten yourself, which is great. But one thing we always say is if we're able to help another family out and help them promote this kitten and get adopted, we can always bring in more at a different time that's convenient for us. So I would say you can always plan it ahead of time as well, to say, I might be busy right now, but I know as a teacher in the summertime, I have these couple of weeks. It's not that long of a commitment. You can do shorter commitments than 6 months or a year or the unknown, right? You can do something where you're saying, hey, I don't have an ample amount of time, but I can feed this kitten up to it's a certain amount of weight to get spayed. And then I can, hand it off back to the shelter or to another family.
Someone
Yeah, and
had
I would.
Oh, go ahead. Someone had asked who pays for the food in the vet. Most of the time, the rescue that you're fostering with pays for the food and the vet visits. You just provide the space, and you would need to provide transportation to and from the vet or to and from adoption events. I remember what I was going to say. I get a lot of people telling me that they can't foster because they already have pets. The majority of the people that foster with our organization have pets already. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So you can definitely foster and have pets. I just set up a separate area for them. But I love the idea that Logan said about fostering before you adopt. I always do the same thing, Logan. I always tell people it's a great way to test out having an animal without making the permanent commitment of adopting.
Yeah, and oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'll just piggyback. I mean, it's a beautiful process because you can see how it fits in your schedule. And unlike having kids, when you have them for 2 weeks, you can't give them back. So that's fostering gives you that luxury where I'm not able to give my kids back all the time. So I'm stuck with them. So it's got to make it work. So I think, and if you guys check out my social media, Logan Ryan, I had actually put a reel and a TikTok together of us fostering our 2 kittens we have currently, Charlie and Franklin. And we were rolling out of the vet of the animal shelter with a cart, and they gave us enough kitten food, enough litter, enough everything we need, a crate to transport them back and forth for the multiple weeks we were going to be having them. So we haven't bought 1 can of food, we haven't bought 1 litter, and they stay upstairs while our dogs really stay in the downstairs of our home. So we don't even interact our dogs to the kittens that we have at times. So they don't have to go through that relationship every couple of weeks. So it is definitely as possible, and we try to make it work in our busy household.
And, if you keep in touch with local rescues, what you'll find is usually there's a lot of different opportunities for helping with different types of cats, right? So maybe there's opportunities for kittens that don't need any space. You literally can keep them in a bathtub or a small playpen. Other times I've seen situations where people say, hey, I need a space for this cat for 1 week. It's an adult cat and we're just in between, and I don't, so it's good to, a lot of times on social media, you can follow local orgs that will kind of put out, hey, I need this, short bursts of help in different ways that, hopefully at some point you can find one of those situations that, really works for you. So Stacy, because you've run, so many TNR certifications, what are, for people who, they seem to be more interested in that, it happens outside of the house, right? Doing TNR. What are some of the aspects of the people who are successful TNR folks? What are some qualities or things that can make someone successful at doing TNR in their community?
Yeah, sure. And I'm just going to chime in. My soft spot with fostering was I took in the cats that were 10 years of age and up. I would take those kitties home and foster them because back in the 90s, we had small cages. It was a very different sheltering environment, and I did not feel like it was a successful environment for the older kitties. So that's my soft spot. Anybody else can take the little itty bitty kittens. I did that once. My kids named Blueberry, Strawberry, and Blackberry, right? And so they had a grand old time with the names. But I have the soft spot for the older kitties. And with regards to TNR, there is that whole overlap with the foster, because when you are trapping, you're dealing with trapping kittens, socialized cats, potentially abandoned cats. In most of the colonies, you'll see a reduction of at least 30% in that colony when you go in and trap, because there are cats and kittens that need to be placed in different ways. So you're going to see a reduction in the size of the colony there. So in terms of the skills of trappers, they're just like foster homes. Foster homes are very organized. They have their charts, they're weighing the kittens. And we have our charts and our checklists also at the TNR level, so that making sure that you have everything in place that you need to be able to be successful in trapping that colony. The most important thing is to get everybody spayed or neutered in that colony, not to go, oh, I've got 2 or 3 left, I'm good enough, and I'm going to walk on by. You know, a cat can get pregnant at the age of 5 months, right? Feline Fix by 5 is a campaign that encourages folks to get their cats, they're spayed by 5 months, because a cat can get pregnant by that age. It's not 6 months, it's 5 months. And so really, we want to make sure that you just have all of the information, the checklists, they're organized. A lot of people use geo maps, and they're tracking where all the cats are from, really depending on the caretakers, the folks that are feeding the cats. You know, many caretakers, they all have names, Fluffy and, you know, Cindy and whatever. So it's really depending on making sure they pull the food. Cats shouldn't be eating for 24 to 48 hours. So you can't trap with cats that are being fed regularly. There is also a great tool called a drop trap. And so being willing to utilize a drop trap in addition to a regular trap will help make your situation, the area that you're feeding or caring for cats, much more successful. But get that last cat. If there's anything I can take home with you before you get on to the other phone calls that are out there and people are asking you for help, focus one group at a time, and you'll be so much more successful.
I love that. So, you know, helping cats can be a very emotional journey and situation, right? When you're in any situation where you're trying to help, there could just be a big emotional burden. And oftentimes when we're trying to help, there's a lot of sad situations, right? There's cats you can't save. There's cats who don't make it. And, you know, say for fostering, there's having to say that goodbye. And so especially for people who, you know, have the hope to do this on a long-term basis, like to kind of set themselves up so that they can consistently help in a way that works for them, where they don't end up burning out. What are just some of your tips for sort of, you know, having emotional fortitude and not being in a situation where you feel like, well, I can't ever foster or help because it's too sad, or I'm going to want to keep them all? Nikki, do you want to start with that?
Well, I definitely can't keep them all. We've probably fostered in the last 13 years, close to 1,000 kittens. So if I kept them all, then I would be a hoarder, and I couldn't do it, continue to do it. So, and unless I say goodbye, I can't take in any more that desperately need my help. I specialize in taking in critical care and neonatal kittens. So the next one that's coming in to me definitely needs my help. And if I don't say goodbye to the next one, then I can't take the one that is in need the most. I also recommend new foster parents, especially any foster parent, connect with other fosters in their area. So that way, if you're leaving town, maybe you can you can babysit one another's fosters where you're gone. You can co-foster, sign up to foster a group together. So that way you have a support system. I know our rescue has a private Facebook page just for foster parents. So the foster parents can connect with other fosters in our community that are fostering through the same organization. So some may say, I'm on vacation in May. Oh, great. I can take them in May. Maybe you can take them in April, you know, something like that. But definitely connecting with other people that are in the community that do the same thing. But if you don't say goodbye, I always hear that excuse, I can never foster because I couldn't say goodbye to them. Well, I could never continue to foster if I didn't say goodbye to them.
Logan, how about you? Especially actually, Logan, because you have kids that get involved with this as well. So that like is a whole nother layer of getting involved.
I mean, especially because we major in, fostering the really young kittens, the bottle feeding babies. We've fostered mama cat with the bottle with the young babies, and we had some that haven't made it, and that's a lesson that those are some talks I had to have with my 5-year-old daughter, 6-year-old daughter at the time about life and death that I wasn't anticipating having at that age, but it was something that she saw firsthand, and something that, we all were sad over. But I always view it as we're giving these kittens, a better days, a better weeks than they would have otherwise. We're giving them the best we can, time, attention, and care, more privacy in our home, just the ability to do the best we can. And it's not always perfect, but again, yeah, if you there's nothing wrong with adopting, one or few that you love, or however many that you love. There's nothing wrong with that. But we always feel that, again, you can, with the platform that I have as an athlete, I'm able to show these cats, these kittens, a whole, Instagram worth of people that can see them and promote them and help them find a home. And I'm able to peddle these cats to find more homes and promote, adoption and rescue over all else. That's my number one cause. So I'm able to continue to do my job and use my platform and show different people that have different interests, to show these cats and give these more eyeballs on these cats and kittens, and able to continue to do that. So you can't get more unless, these ones go. So we definitely have learned and had to do a lot of teaching moments with our kids over it. But I think it made our kids better people, and they're growing into great young children now, young adults, because of, what they've seen firsthand with these kittens.
Something I say also is, I hear people say that they can't give these kittens up because they've bonded with them and they only love them and they're comfortable with them. I say it all the time. Kittens are traitors. They're little traitors. They will love someone else because of the love you've shown to them. So they're going to go into their home. And if you've done your job right by socializing them and helping them grow to be confident and healthy, then they're going to go into their next home and they're going to not skip a beat. So they won't miss you. I promise. You think they will, but if you've done your job right, they definitely won't. They are traitors. They will move on and they won't miss you. And that's okay, because you did your job as a foster.
I love that. Stacy, what about you? What are some of your tips for just dealing with that emotional burden of helping cats? And
yeah, I mean, since I've been around since 1994, it's been a minute, right? I've seen a few things over time. So I'll just share a couple of my sort of aha moments that I've had. So back in the late 90s, I was asked to go to a bar that had some cats living out of the dumpster. And so what I saw at that point in time was about 30 kittens living in and out of a dumpster that was full of smashed glass all over the place and all that kind of stuff. And I went there and I saw the kittens, and in the woods, you could see the little eyes of all the adult cats looking in, at us. And, I'm like, you know what? We're never going to see this again. This is just not going to happen. We're going to do it. We're going to fix this situation, and we're not going to see this ever again. So we trapped about 33 kittens. Each kitten either had 1 or 2 eyes removed. They were all brought in, put into foster care, adopted out. Wonderful cats, kittens, loving, trusting, lots of work and effort, behind that, not just a one person situation. Went into the woods. We trapped 60 adult cats, got them all TNR'd, trapped, spayed and neutered, ear tipped. So they're always visually seen and acknowledged as being taken care of. Local apartment complex, feeding the cats. We had a feeding station installed behind that bar. No more cats there today. All gone, right? They've aged out,
yeah.
Right? So that's an aha moment. I see this vision. And so I take something that could really bog me down and say, oh my gosh, this is tragic. And we made lemonade, right, out of those lemons. And that's the situation that I take with each story that I hear with folks as I try and say, what can we do? How can we work together? What's missing in this puzzle that we can put all the pieces together to really make it a great, environment? So are you missing access to care? There's a veterinary shortage right now and veterinary technician shortage. Are you missing that? Are you missing volunteer help? Are you missing access to traps? What's the piece in the puzzle that's missing? And then we're there to help put them together. So I've been at really low points. I've had really hard times. I worried about shelter life. I worry about those little neonatal kittens, passing away in the middle of the night. That totally used to stress me out big time. So I've been there and tried to figure out how to take care of yourself. And we've talked about creating seasons for rescuers. Like I think Logan was mentioning, maybe you can say you can do it for 2 months, but then you take a break for a month or two, repair, recover. Logan's got a season. He's got to repair and recover. He can't play football all the time. That's the same in this business too. We need to respect and honor the fact that maybe I can do administrative stuff for a while. Maybe I need to turn my focus in different ways, PR and outreach. There's a place for all of us, and we can't be all things to all people. So, at the end of the day, it's just keep your passion, keep your love, and just be aware of the fact you can do different things. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Oh, I love that. Well, we have like 2 minutes left, so I'm going to announce the winner of this session's prize, and you guys can think of your quick 10-20 second final closing tip before we head back into the main room to do our DIY cat toy making, get your toilet paper tubes. So for this session, we're giving out a prize pack from Love and Above Cat Club. We thought it was really relevant because the prize pack includes some goodies for your cats, but also goodies for the humans. They have flower essences and things to just, focus on taking care of you. So the winner for that is Skylar Trujillo. Is Skylar Trujillo? Skylar here. You have to be present to win. Skylar, give us a shout in the chat if you're here. And while we're waiting, oh, you're here. Hooray. All right. So email Steph at Your Cat Backpack. And with that, Logan, I'll kick it to you for your first quick closing tip.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to all you guys. Like I said, I run around and play football for a living and do something I love to do, and I won't be able to do that forever, right? But I got paid a lot of money to do that for a long time in my life. But when I really stepped into this animal rescue world, and like I said, people do this for a living, not for the money, for the bottom of their heart. Kind people. It made me a better person. My wife, long story short, she worked in a shelter early in our relationship, and she was making minimum wage, sweeping kennels and coming home dirty, and she did it out of the bottom of her heart. So you guys really got the kindest hearts, and I appreciate you guys. And I just try to bring attention from my platform, but it's not possible without the volunteers, the kind-hearted people, the people fostering, the people taking time, money, and resources to make these animals. And I always say that I stand up for animals because they don't have a voice for themselves. So I appreciate you guys, appreciate you listening to me today. And I got to learn a lot from this beautiful panel here, learn a lot from you guys who've been doing a lot longer than I have been. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Stacy, let's go to you next. And obviously you have to have Logan on your podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And great things are happening in Florida, I have to say, for cats. I was down there visiting in February, and I was in Pasco County, and there was a colony of cats, about 30 to 35 cats, and they were all getting TNR'd. One of the cats had kittens when they got trapped at 2:00 in the morning, all the fun things that we all deal with. But yeah, it takes a village. It takes organizations, it takes individuals, it takes volunteers. It all takes a village. And but every community out there deserves to have we need to know how to work together as individuals. The cats actually are the bond between the people, and getting the people to work together, neighbor to neighbor, and all that kind of stuff too. So want to thank everybody for attending today. Really appreciate it. And again, always remember to turn your passion for cats into action.
Thank you. All right, Nikki, close us out.
Okay, so if you can get involved in any way, shape, or form, this is your encouragement to do so. We have volunteers that come into our rescue that do laundry, take the laundry home and do laundry. We have volunteers with TNR that answer the phone calls. They clean traps, feed cats. We have volunteers that transport cats from the rescue to vet appointments. So in any capacity you can get involved, contact your local TNR or rescue organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.